Now to take this further, we are being joined by Dr. Nigel Fletcher. He is a political analyst and commentator. He's joining us live from London. Mr. Fletcher, good to see you again on WION. Do you think the Reform UK party is the closest to a far-right party in the UK that it comes? Do you think that the voters, the opinion polls are based on, are they riding on the same wave of far-right of the EU, or do you think they just want an alternative to the Tories?
Well, I think you're right to say they are the closest that the UK has to some of those far-right parties that we've seen making gains in European elections in recent days. But I think the appeal of Reform UK is based on rather more than that. They are starting to become the repository for a lot of protest votes from voters who want something different, but who perhaps don't want to vote for the Labour Party. And also, of course, Nigel Farage is leaning into the fact that the Labour Party are hugely ahead of the Conservatives in this election. They can see the polls that suggest that Labour will win a huge majority. And he's saying that that means that there needs to be an opposition to the Labour Party. And he thinks that the Reform UK party can be that opposition. But of course, as you say, under the first past the post system, they're not likely to win many seats, if any at all. Nigel Farage himself may win Clacton, but he's unlikely to win any other seats. The effect of what Reform UK are going to do is to deny the Conservatives a whole load of other seats they might otherwise win. And so conversely, what he's actually doing is increasing the Labour majority by doing this.
All right, Dr. Fletcher, let me ask you a question that I might ask you even after the election results come. Do you think the Tories would be standing where they are if Rishi Sunak would not be at the helm of power?
Well, this is one of the difficult questions about political leaders. How much effect do they have on the actual result? Rishi Sunak was a very popular politician when he was Chancellor of the Exchequer. He was the person who was giving out lots of money to support people through the pandemic. And it's since he's become Prime Minister that his ratings have fallen significantly. But that's because the ratings of the Conservative Party have also sharply dropped. They fell to about the same level we're seeing now when Liz Truss was Prime Minister. They recovered when Rishi Sunak became Prime Minister, but since then they've continued to fall back to a level where now they're even below some of the lows that we saw when Liz Truss was there briefly in number 10. But I think we shouldn't underestimate how huge this fall by the Conservatives is. The fact that Reform have overtaken them is taking the headlines, but the effect of that in terms of seats in the next Parliament could well be that on some projections the Conservatives will fall not to the mid-100 of 150 or so seats, but fall below 100 to something like 60 seats. That would be a catastrophic result for the Conservatives, and it could even lead to them losing second place. They could end up as the third party in Parliament and be overtaken by the Liberal Democrats. So this could be a transformative moment in British politics of seeing the Conservatives that for hundreds of years have been dominant in politics falling to possibly being the third party. Right. And that's something that we haven't seen in a very long time happen to a political party in Britain.
Absolutely, and we hope that we'll have the answers on July 4th. Thank you so much for joining us, Dr. Fletcher, and getting us all those insights from London. For all the latest news, download the WION app and subscribe to our YouTube channel.